He wasn't supposed to think, he wasn't supposed to feel. He definitely wasn't supposed to fight back, but he did all three. Now let's jump into the video and find out who is Deathlok. Michael Collins' story didn't begin in a lab or on a battlefield. It began in Philadelphia, where a quiet, brilliant kid clawed his way through school on scholarships and stubborn determination. He married Tracy, became a father to Nicholas, and built a life defined by compassion and intellect. His talents carried him to Stark Enterprises, but Cybertek Systems, a Roxxon subsidiary, lured him away with promises of innovation and leadership. For 5 years, he led their software division, convinced he was designing neurological prosthetics that would restore dignity to the disabled. Never in a million years did he imagine his work was being used to create a weapon. See, long before Michael arrived, Roxxon had stolen the dimensionally displaced cyborg Deathlok the Demolisher from S.H.I.E.L.D. Harlan Ryker helped to dissect it, reverse engineer it, and build a purely robotic Deathlok that was later destroyed. Ryker resurfaced at Cybertek, where he built a new Deathlok using the brain of Colonel John Kelly. Kelly's cyborg performed flawlessly until his brain tried to override the computer's commands. The system electrocuted him to protect itself. Cybertek then removed the failsafe and prepared to start again. That's when Michael stumbled onto the truth. They were using his inventions on the Deathlok program. He confronted his supervisor Ryker, unaware he was speaking to the architect of the program. Ryker murdered him and had Michael's brain installed inside the Deathlok body. When Michael awoke, he found himself imprisoned in metal. He was forced to watch as Cybertek deployed him to the South American nation of Estrella. Under Cybertek's programming, the cyborg executed guerrillas resisting Roxxon's dam project. When he was ordered to kill a little girl, using his programming expertise, his brain briefly seized control of the cyborg, sparing the girl. Deathlok was taken back to Cybertek for diagnostics, where he was able to take full control of the cyborg, break free, and escape. His first impulse was to go back to the people he loved, but the moment his wife saw him, fear eclipsed recognition. The shock in her eyes cut deeper than any weapon, leaving Michael convinced there was nothing left for him in this world. In that despair, he decided to leave his son one final lesson before giving up. Slipping into his son's video game, he told the boy that doing the right thing is harder than taking the easy path, and that real heroes choose the harder road. As the words left his mouth, Michael realized they weren't just meant for his son, they were meant for him as well. Instead of surrendering to hopelessness, he chose to rise. From that moment on, Deathlok would turn his unwanted transformation into a force of good. Deathlok wandered the city's back alleys, stopping muggings and pulling people out of danger wherever he could. One of those people was Jesus Baldamonte, a Coney Island worker who insisted on offering the cyborg a place to stay after Deathlok saved his life. From there, Michael reached out to his old colleague Jim Dwarman, now holding the job Michael once had, and arranged a quiet meeting. He asked Jim to retrieve the Estrella files for him, and Jim delivered. But the moment he transmitted them, Ryker's men traced the signal. Ryker responded by unleashing Mainframe to eliminate Deathlok. Mainframe failed and was taken into custody, which put the entire situation squarely on Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D's radar. Deathlok then returned to Estrella, determined to set things right. Fighting alongside of the rebels, he helped defeat Roxxon's forces and destroyed the dam they were constructing, crippling the corporation's entire operation. From there, he headed back to Cybertek to confront Ryker directly. At the gates, Nick Fury intercepted him and struck a deal, helped bring Ryker in, and S.H.I.E.L.D. would back him. But once inside, Ryker played on Michael's deepest longing, promising to restore his human body. Desperate for hope, Deathlok agreed to serve as Ryker's protector, only later to realize he had been manipulated yet again. Refusing to be used any longer, he turned Ryker over to Fury along with the evidence needed to finally bring him down. Then, at Deathlok's request, Fury visited his wife, assuring her that Michael was alive and working undercover on a classified mission, then leaving her a letter from Michael. After that victory, the threats he faced only grew stranger, pushing him deeper into a world of superhumans, technology, and corruption. He helped Misty Knight battle a rogue Doom robot, kidnapping cybernetic beings, fought alongside Digitech to stop a computer virus, aided Spider-Man against the Sinister Six, and Sleepwalker against Mr. FX. Although Michael kept his distance, he never stopped watching over his family. When gunmen tore through Nick's playground and nearly killed him, Michael hunted the attackers down. That's when he discovered one of Nick's friends was pushing drugs and using Nick as a mule. Following Nick's trail brought him to a gang gathering where Silvermane seized the kids, forcing Deathlok to step in. The Punisher burst in to exact revenge for the murdered children and almost got Nick killed. With no better option, the two uneasy allies joined forces to get Nick back. When his wife Tracy discovered she was pregnant, she told S.H.I.E.L.D. she had figured out the truth about Michael and he was able to reunite with his family. But it wasn't long before Biohazard, a monstrous nanotech mutation of John Kelly's brain, attacked their home. After defeating Biohazard, Deathlok came to the realization that his presence put his family in danger, and he couldn't stay, so he returned to living on Coney Island. Later, Wakanda security chief Wakabi recruited Deathlok for a cybersecurity role in Wakanda. Michael accepted and was even able to bring his family with him. But not long after arriving, he found himself fighting alongside T'Challa against Moses Magnum, Killjoy, and Freak. Killjoy severed one of Deathlok's arms while he shielded T'Challa, but Wakandan technology restored it. Magnum had seized a neighboring nation and launched an invasion of Wakanda. Deathlok crippled Magnum's command and control systems, ending the threat and preventing a full-scale war. Deathlok and his family then returned home. Next, the Hobgoblin was hired to kill Deathlok's family. Fortunately, Deathlok returned home just in time and fought the Hobgoblin. In the chaos, Tracy went into labor, and Deathlok abandoned the battle to rush her to the hospital where their daughter was born. Shortly after being released from the hospital, Tracy took the children and moved west without telling Michael where she was going. She could no longer raise their children in the shadow of the danger that followed him. Deathlok's cybernetic physiology grants him a full suite of superhuman abilities, all anchored by his encephalonic technology, a system that merges inorganic brains and calculable storage capacity with a hyper-efficient computer mind. Much of his brain has been replaced with an advanced AI that enhances his intelligence, tactical processing, and combat knowledge, while also allowing him to interface with, manipulate, or override computerized systems. His artificial eyes and ears operate far beyond human limits, scanning multiple light spectrums and recording sensory data with precision. His body is almost entirely mechanical, built on a pure adamantium skeleton with elastic adamantium steel musculature that provides immense durability, strength, and speed. Despite his size, he moves with exceptional agility, stamina, and near instantaneous reflexes, and his internal nanites rapidly repair organic components. Supported by a simplified but efficient physiology, he still requires oxygen, sleep, and liquefied nutrients. His onboard systems house the equivalent of dozens of mainframe computers, giving him genius-level programming skill, encyclopedic knowledge, and a mastery of both hand-to-hand combat and advanced weaponry. Built-in armaments, including a plasma pistol powered by his internal reactor, plus a plasma rifle and grenade launcher stored in his backpack unit, make him a walking arsenal as well as a living supercomputer. Well, that's the origin of the Marvel character Deathlok, who continues to adventure in the Marvel Universe. Now, before you power down, help me override the system by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and subscribing so we override the system and blow this video up. That does it for this one. Thanks for watching. Peace.